What's good, everybody? What's good? It feel like it's been a while. This the DSA Detroit Lions Roundtable. We back in the building, y'all. Y'all know it's a lot to talk about. It's a lot of things to go over. But first, before we get into it, I'm gonna introduce the panel, man. I got my man Jim Bordeaux in the building. What's good?
Hey, what's up, man? Man, I want to talk some football, man. We're getting so close to the regular season coming up. We've got these training camp things to talk about, and I'm just really, really happy about this. And I think that team is coming together, and I'm just excited for some football.
All right, man. We got my man Right or Wrong in the building. What's good, man?
What's going on? I'm excited to be here. It's been too long since I've talked Lions football.
Yeah, you know, we got my main man Luke G in the building. What up, though?
Now, let me go back to Ryder. He said it's been too long since he talked football. This man's still dropping like 30 videos an hour.
I know.
Well, I met with you guys. I met on the table.
Oh, okay. I'm like Ryder. I've been keeping up with the news because between you and Dosa Dion, I've been keeping up with the news really well. And I'm like, yo, they dropping these things fast. Ain't even no room for error. So, but what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the show. We are ready to have us some fun. It's going to get real in here today. So this is your warning that there's some things that are going to be talked about that you may not want to talk about.
Hey, look, you know I throw out the disclaimers. You know I always do it.
I just decided to take the liberty to put it out there that it could be a topic or two that people may not want to talk about. But it's going to be discussed here, so we just wanted to let people know in advance that is going down.
Yeah, you want to say what up to people in the chat, Luke?
Man, I could do that for sure. You know, hey. All right, we got hard work and dedication. Kyle Webb, Chris Casbar. I hope I say his name right. I always botch his name. Dolo Dynamite, D Map Zoom. We got Devin 99. Devin 99 is a ride or die for real. We got Randy Nathaniel. We got not a Lions fan, but I like that. And then we got Cherie Barnes. I hope I said that right, or Shadri Burns. If I said your name wrong, I apologize. I don't know why he had me do this. He know damn well I can't say nobody's name right.
He set me up. It's all right. It's all good. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. Now, as Luke said, man, disclaimer, we're definitely about to discuss what the Lions did when they canceled practice. So we never want to bring any type of anything besides sports, but the Lions decided to make a stand, and this is our sports team. So it's something that we're going to have to talk about because there's been a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, the pandemic, a lot of protests because of what happened with George Floyd. And then this Jacob Blake shooting happened, and the Detroit Lions decided that they were going to take a stand, decide to, talk for hours about just things and the experiences in life because, people on the football team come from different walks of life, even if the majority of the NFL is black, and they took a stand. We saw the team unified outside the building and just taking a stand for positivity, for social justice, So this is something that we definitely have to talk about. So, because I feel like we went from our owner, paying players not to protest and kneel to switching owners, and something like this is allowed to happen. Because I don't think if the owner wasn't on board, this would even have been allowed to happen. So Sheila's already making her imprint. I don't think people even notice that aspect. But my question to you guys is thoughts on the Lions canceling practice, and how do you think it will affect the team and bring them more together to take a stand in a unified way that we've never seen them really do before on any team in a lot of years? We're going to start with you, Jim, because I know you know about all the Lions teams, and you probably got some stories that we don't know about.
Either just move on and not address it, not do anything, just let the news be the news. And they decided to take a stand. They decided to stand up and said, nope, we're not just going to let this pass by, And I really believe it created a team unity like we've never had before. I don't know. I'm on Matt Patricia quite a bit, and I don't know whose idea the whole thing was, but it just seems like Matt Patricia's a different dude this year. I don't know. He's cuddly Matt Patricia or something this year. I don't know what it is, but it's like he allowed all these people to say what they wanted to say, get their feelings out. He talks about mental health. We're talking about Lions being arm in arm on things now. We're go from, like you said, not being able to kneel, right, to take a knee, to go to this and show unity in the face of something, in the face of tragedy. I think it was an amazing call by them, and I think that it's going to bring this team very close together.
Oh yeah.
All right. Luke, you seem like you got something to say, man?
No, listen, it's hard work and dedication jumped on where I was going to go with this. And he says that decision just made the Lions come closer as a whole. And he says unity. And to me, if you go back to the 1991 Detroit Lions, there was two things that happened, but one singular thing that happened that literally just did something to the whole team, and that was the injury of Mike Utley.
Yep, the thumbs up.
The thumbs up. When Mike Utley got hurt, the team corralled together. And to me, there were so many things that you guys just hit on from the ownership, new ownership. Like if that had been old ownership, people forget Martha was like, hey, I'll put money on whatever y'all want. Please just don't do this. Like Sheila was like, nah, get it off your chest.
Yep.
like Sheila a different beast, people. And I keep trying to tell people that Sheila is not the same person. But then I believe it was Jim who touched on, the fact that Matt Patricia was all for it. And so to me, anything that shows unity, I'm down for. Anything that shows togetherness, I'm down for. And to me, with the current climate and how things are, this just show you that things in that locker room are closer than we thought. There have been a lot of people who have been preaching that there's a cultural change going on up in there and that this is needed and it's necessary. And when I see this kind of stuff come together, that's what it looks like. It looks like that there is a cultural change where there's a brotherhood. But
yeah, we gonna get into it.
But definitely it's one of the things where when I saw it, I said, wow. That happened. Now keep in mind, they did cancel practice. I get it. If it was a game, I'd have been like, oh damn, y'all forgetting paychecks. See, to me, I'm a believer in when people do stuff when they have money on the line, I got my respect levels go up. The damage is different. But I respect the unity and the coming together that they did. I think it was something that definitely will build this team.
Yeah, and we gotta understand what they stand for, and I'm not trying to have our team take credit for anything because we all know we fighting for black, unarmed black men and women getting shot about police brutality. So when we talking about that and looking at what happened with the NBA right after this, it's a big deal because my thing is no other team is doing it. And it's something that I'm going to be honest with you, I would never expect in a million years my football team would do this, specifically because I know the stigma that they have with a lot of other things that we ain't going to get into. And when I got a little bit emotional just watching and seeing all of them unify like that because I know what it means on multiple levels, what they're standing for and why they're doing it, and the fact that what it means for the team and the coach and everyone in that building and a lot of the fan base seeing our team unify like that unifies the fan base even more. So it's just a lot of things that go on with it. But all right, right around, what is your thoughts on this whole situation, the canceling of practice and protest of the Jacob Blake shooting and the Lions taking a stand on this?
I mean, I think you guys hit it on the head. I mean, I think that shows a lot of really good things from the ownership because, I mean, like you guys said, if Martha Ford was still in charge, that's not happening. I mean, no one's even thinking about that because, Martha's going to shut that down before it even comes out of their mouth. But, I think that just shows Sheila is a different person. The team's going to be run differently now. And then I think that shows a lot for Matt Patricia. And I have another example from, when they were protested, some of the players went out and protested something and Matt Patricia was there with his players. It just seems like Matt Patricia, I don't know how to say this, but I just feel like Matt Patricia is all for his players. It feels like this year Matt Patricia is willing to do anything for his players. And, that's just, I think, a really good quality for a coach to have because he just seems like he's all in, where he's going to do everything to help his players out.
Yeah, another thing on that too. Yeah. We go from Patricia and Slay incidents and locker room incidents and talking about all this other stuff to unity, and maybe him getting his players in there was the fix for this team. Maybe
Jim, you just had to say everything I was gonna say.
Good point.
Well, I gotta steal your thunder, James.
He got his guys in there, and like maybe that's why he needed. Like, yeah, it's very easy to ride for your people when they're your guys. We see Peace and Quiet said the Packers just did it today. I'm assuming that he's saying they canceled practice. I'll go look into that later. But that's great if they did do that, and if the reasoning behind it was lining up with the things that's still going on. But we gonna move on a bit because this is, like I said, this is a multi-layered thing, and I do feel like one thing about coaches, you have to get better. And you heard Darius Slay say, a guy who's a non-advocate for Matt Patricia on national television, he said it. We were a worse team record-wise, obviously, because Stafford was hurt. That was the only reason why. We know that. But and he said Matt Patricia was a better coach. Said it on national TV. So when we're looking at that, and this year, I think Matt Patricia has learned from his first 2 years. He had to take his lumps, and he's definitely taking his lumps.
Wait. J-Mo, my apologies. Who said Matt Patricia was a better coach?
Darius Slay. He said he was a better coach in his second year than his first year when he went on First Take.
Oh, yeah. Okay, my bad. I was reading the comments and got lost a little bit. My bad.
Yeah. And so we're seeing what's happening with them all taking a stand as a unified team. So my question to you guys is, should Matt Patricia get some credit for the environment he's created this year, just allowing the players to even do and take that stand and protest like they did? We're going to start off with you, right or wrong.
Absolutely. I think Matt Patricia deserves a lot of credit for this because, everybody harps on him for bringing in the Patriots or, everybody harps on him for bringing in the guys that he wants. But just look at I know he wasn't brought here to rebuild the culture, but look at the culture he did build. I mean, these guys are all unified like we're talking about. These guys are, protesting with each other. These guys are canceling practice and willing, to give up a day of practice and put themselves at a disadvantage to stand up for, stuff they believe in. And they're all standing together. No, I didn't hear anybody from the Detroit Lions organization, disagree with what they were doing. And I think that shows a lot of unity in the team. And I think Matt Patricia deserves some credit for that because he brought in all these guys that, to build this culture and to build the mindset around this team.
Okay. Jim, what do you think about this, man? Should Matt Patricia get some credit?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that you look at year 1 to year 2 to now year 3, this looks like a completely different Matt Patricia. It really does. He's not telling the reporters to sit up and all this other stuff. I mean, I think he's truly learning on the job, and I see him making changes and things going on that, you know what? This might be the most unified team we've had since what Luke said, Mike Utley. When Mike Utley was down and got paralyzed, he goes off the field and puts his thumb in the air like, I'm going to be all right. And they use that as a rallying cry. I am not so sure they won't be using this as a rallying cry the whole year.
Well, the goal should be there.
What?
So the goal should be there. It should be a rally cry for the whole season. And it's not just a rally cry for your brother next to you. It's a rally cry for everything. To me, when the voices of the oppressed are not heard, those voices turn into actions. And so a lot of the things that people don't realize is if you look at most of these sporting leagues, if these athletes decided that, y'all don't want to hear us, and they took a real stand, oh my God, you're talking about the NBA. I don't know if they'll be able to recover without meeting demands. NFL too. Hockey might get away with it.
Maybe.
But MLB, NBA, NFL, I don't know if they can do it. But
to answer that, with the predominantly black sports like football and basketball, because a lot of people don't like my sentiments, but I feel like I could care less if sports continue. I would rather them all protest to make a stand right now. But in the NFL, we all know the dynamics is way different than the NBA. In the NBA, the players have way much more power. But in the NFL, I would have no problem with our players like saying we don't want to play. So it's just, I don't think that would happen though. But
But I think this is unprecedented to me, the way that the Lions organization handled that, because it wasn't just the players going to do something and organize themselves. It was the organization that allowed all this to happen, and they were all on board together. I think that's the biggest sign of unity that I've seen of any type of a protest or a stand or something like that I've seen on a team.
Yeah. I mean, so Luke, what is your response to this? Should Matt Patricia get some credit for creating this environment? Because let's be honest, whether you want to say he had his guys or not, this environment wasn't created the first 2 years. It just seems like that. So it seems like something is a little bit different. But should he get credit for that, considering the stand that the team took and how he was unified, even canceling? Like, to me, the cancel of practice, when practice is more important than probably any other year. And we know one practice isn't going to make or break this team, but that is very significant. You know, you had the media waiting, we don't care. But go ahead, man.
My attitude to it is this. First, to answer the question, if I can be critical of the person and say, oh, well, this is his fault, then I have to be also willing to say, yeah, he deserves the credit for this. So to me, anybody who feel like, oh, he ain't do nothing, he did. He had to. And whether he was forced or not, it had to be done. But I also look at it like this. This is the other thing I look at. To me, I believe that there was a culture with Jim Caldwell. It may not have been a culture that many of us may have wanted, or maybe it was a culture that some of us did. I just think that the biggest thing this particular year that I am noticing that is the hugest difference, and I have been on record to say this repeatedly, is anytime I can see a person admit to themselves that, yep, I was wrong. Yep, I handled this wrong. Yep, I could have did this better. And then they turn around and make those adjustments in a year after, I'm going to always praise you. Because at this point, I think what he was doing, he realized wasn't going to work. So to him, my hats is off. So yes, the credit definitely got to go in there and do his thing. Now, Adula Terrell says, just dropping in for support. I'm going to study my boxing tape. Hey, appreciate you dropping in for the support, man. Definitely go ahead and study your boxing. And I'm going to hit you up on Discord because there's somebody they call him White Chocolate that I've been watching, and he been knocking everybody the fuck out. Excuse my language, but I just been amazed at what he been doing. So I'm going to be hitting you up. Nomis J is in the building. What's going on, Nomis?
What's up, Nomis?
So my thing is this. If we don't give him credit, we're hypocrites. I don't care who you are. If you don't give him credit, you can't on one hand say, oh, he sucked, he's a terrible coach, he don't do this, and then when something happens good, don't want to give him the credit. If the Lions mess around and win a playoff game, I'm still going to say, okay, they won a playoff game. Now, I have been on record to tell you that that's not my standard for him to stay. He got to win a division. If you just look at the climate of who opted out, who the injuries that's happened and stuff, we should be winning the division. But overall, yes, he 100% deserves this credit.
No, I mean, we going to get into the division talk because I think what's going on in training camp, things are happening. But the last thing I'll say about this before we move on is I'm not just giving, of course, Matt Patricia definitely deserves a lot of credit, and I'm proud of him. You know, and you just have to keep that same energy throughout the season and continue to try to build these guys up, these guys that believe in you. But not just him, but Matthew Stafford as well. You know, to me, they say actions speak louder than words. They say it all the time. And I continuously have watched Matthew Stafford. Actions prove he's a leader more than, you know, the words that the people say when they come up with this, oh, he's just not a leader and he doesn't have the fire. And then you see him trucking linebackers. But, you know, it just doesn't make sense. And, you know, as a leader of this team, him talking about the fact that he's never been more proud to be a member of this team. And I know he meant that because I feel like he senses it as well. This team is more together than we've ever been. And I don't know how they caught lightning in the bottle that way to be that together, but it seems a little bit different with the culture. And I'll give Matt Patricia some credit for that. And we like that. But all right, we're going to move on to the next topic. But make sure you guys like the video if you haven't liked the video already. Now, so there's been good and bad things coming out of training camp, but I just keep hearing the same thing. And I'm not really happy about it. So DeAndre Swift and Bo Scarborough have been missing practice, and DeAndre Swift has been consistently missing practice. Like he's missed multiple practices now, and I think both Scarborough as well. So my question is, do you put any stock in their injury and the missing practice? Because one of the reporters said a few days ago that the Lions said Swift would have been ready to go if it was game day. But why is he still missing practice? Like it's not just 1 or 2 or 3 practice. Like it's been a lot of practices that he's not been in. So we're going to start with you, Joe.
Well, you look at the Lions' history, they don't like to report on injuries, and I think there could be some more to this than what people think. Yeah, sure, they say, oh, yeah, he could have started, he could have played. I'm worried about Austin Bryant still being on the PUP. I'm worried about Kerryon Johnson wearing a knee brace running out there. I'm worried about Big V going down with an injury last practice. There's a lot of injuries going on. Even Taylor Decker's a little nicked up. So we have a lot of injuries going forward, and we kind of expected this because of the shortened season, but I do think there's something to it. I think there's more than what they're telling us, because it generally happens that way. The thing was, go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say, like, how you gonna tell me DeAndre Swift could play this week and then he missing another practice? Like,
yeah, I know they're trying to be cautious.
Right or wrong, I hope you can do some research. I need to know when the last time he practiced. I know it's at least been 3 practices he hasn't been there. Like, it's been a while. Like, this dude's a rookie. He's not at practice, and you can have reservations about Kerryon and the knee brace, but he's still out there though.
Right.
And I know even if he was in danger of losing his spot, the Lions wouldn't put him out there if he couldn't be out there. Even if it's practice, even if he has a knee, they wouldn't put him out there unless he'd be. So how is Kerryon with a knee brace able to go out there? But Swift, we can't even see you do a light practice. Like, so, I understand what you're saying when you say it's definitely something to it. And I am worried about this because I feel like this is the first time we got the team that we need on offense, and these running backs, like, who's the most healthy running back? Ty Johnson at this point?
Yeah, because Bo's gone too.
I mean, but Ty had injuries too. But I mean, and you got Jason Huntley. But right or wrong, man, do you put any stock in DeAndre Swift consistently missing practice along with Bo Scarborough and our running back situation with these injuries? It seems like.
I mean, okay. First off, JMO, DeAndre Swift did practice yesterday. It was a light practice, but he did practice.
Oh,
so both Bo Scarborough and DeAndre Swift were actually back yesterday, and then they missed today again. So, I mean, do I take stock in their injury? I mean, yeah, because they're injured. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're like. I mean,
I love how simple you are with it.
But like, if they weren't injured, if they weren't hurt, if there was no reason for them to miss time, they wouldn't be missing time. So, I mean, yeah, you need to take some stock in it because there's obviously something wrong with, the way they're playing with their bodies. Something's not right to the point where they either the players or the coaching staff don't believe that it's worth them playing. However, I do think that they're just being very precautionary because, the fact that they did practice yesterday, both DeAndre Swift and Bo Scarborough, they practiced yesterday. That tells me that at least they're healthy enough that if they need to be on the field, they could be. And I really think that they're just being cautious in this preseason where, it's shortened. They don't want to risk anything worse happening. And I think that they're just trying to bring these guys back kind of slowly. And the other thing is that, what was it? Matt Patricia, I think it was today or yesterday, said, next week, they're really going to start ramping up practice. They're really going to start going hard, like hitting hard, and they're really going to up the intensity next week. So I wonder how much of that they're just resting the running backs because they don't want something to happen so that they can come out next week and be, 100% ready to go for those intense practices.
I'll put it like this. I'm not a Chiefs fan, but is Clyde Edwards-Helaire missing practice? I'm just wondering, like, are the other running backs missing practice on these other teams that, and they're out there, their teams aren't holding them back. But with our team, I'm glad that Swift was at practice yesterday, but he still missed multiple practices. So, and I know Bo has been there a little bit more, but I know he's at least missed 2 practices. So, but Luke, do you put any stock in DeAndre Swift and Bo Scarborough supposedly being nicked up and missing some practices. All right, seems like he's not available.
I got something on this too. I think I'm more concerned about our tackle position. We had.
We're gonna get to it.
Oh, we do have a question on that. I don't have the question, so I don't know.
Yeah, No, I was gonna say, I am concerned because as much as we get on carry on for not being injured, the last thing we want is for the rest of the running backs to be the same. And I do like that they're being in practice, but like Ryder said, if they were completely healthy, then they will be out there. And we'll see what happens when they wrap up the intensity. I'm not going to overreact. I won't overreact. But when the rookies have missed rookie mini camp and rookie training camp, them being in training camp is more important than any other unit on the team. So when they're missing practice, it's something that I'm going to look into, especially when they say it's injury related. Also, Deshaun Hand missed practice, like Jim said. The Detroit Sports Room, by the way, make sure you guys subscribe for all the good.
Okay. Don't know what happened there with JMO's getting close to 1,000 subscribers. I think he's like 35 away. So let's help him out there and get some subscribers going that way. Really concerned. Yeah. I mean, I like Williams also as a running back we brought in also, but like I said, it's difficult when you see somebody in a knee brace, and then all of a sudden you have carry on in the knee brace, and then you got DeAndre Swift not practicing. I think Huntley was out too, right or wrong?
I didn't say anything about Huntley missing practice, but
did he? I was wondering about that, but yeah, that's my thing. I don't know. I make a big deal out of this because the Lions are notoriously like this with their fan base. They're like DeAndre Levy.
The wide receiver's not missing practice. You know,
that's true. But they're not hurt.
Like the only reason is I will not overreact to training camp. I will not overreact to training camp. I will not overreact to training camp.
Are you writing it on the whiteboard there?
Like, yes. But my thing is, I'm gonna pay attention to it just because it's the running backs, and that's my thing. We invested so much into that position.
We did.
You know, yep. I need all y'all 100% because we trying to make this Super Bowl run. Yeah, I said it, and we ain't doing that. If you guys get nicked up now, what's gonna happen when the season starts? Like DeAndre Swift ain't never seen no NFL contact,
right?
Like, man, like come on.
Okay, but, my bad. I'm back, man.
I won't overreact to it though.
My bad. I'm back. I am still working, people. As y'all know, every time I come out here, I am working. My job is nothing I can waver on, but I am still working. So to kind of go back to the question about the injuries, everybody take a damn relax pill, okay? Listen, there has not been a full off season, and so at this point, I don't care who they say is hurt. Until you tell me it's an ACL, MCL, like how we lost the rookie D tackle, I can care less. At this point, they're going to be cautionary because guess what? If he's hurt and he's not practicing, cool. The goal is to try not to have large groups in one large place. If he's got a nagging injury, that's more time for him to learn the playbook. Rumor has it he's struggling with it. Don't know how you struggle with the playbook as a running back, but it happens. And to me, if he is simply just being put on there, because one, they have to say if a person is hurt in any form or fashion, they have to. And now more than ever, they want you to self-report that you have an injury, because guess what that does? It allows for you to not only not be in the building, but then somebody can go off to the side and help you learn some stuff in the classroom setting. So there's no reason for anybody to panic about any injury. When they start talking about things that are serious enough to have you out for weeks, panic. But right now, you're going to get a bunch of nagging injuries because people, believe it or not, they didn't. I bet you most of these players didn't think we were going to even have a football season. So they were eating ho-hos, Oreos, Juicy Juice, Doritos. They were ordering pizza and everything else.
This man said Juicy Juice.
I'm just saying. Bro, listen. True story. When I was playing football in college, man, Juicy Juice was life, bro. You don't even understand. It was cheap. Oh. It was delicious. And I'm telling you, bro, that Juicy Juice gave life. I'm telling you. But I'm just saying, there's no reason for us to panic at this point because they're going to take caution to everything that's going on, because if I don't have to push it further, I don't have to. Hell, we don't even know if the season's going to finish. So why am I going to push it? And
I don't even know when it's going to start. But
that's what I'm saying. Like, so why would I push this player to do something? I don't even know if it's going to start on time, if it's going to end early or what. So to me, we just got. And thank you. See, that Z said it. Juicy Juice is the best. Don't be set tripping. Juicy Juice is life.
But see, staying on that fact about the injuries. Now, they didn't say what it was, but I know you say you don't want to hear it unless it's AC or MCL. But my question to you guys is: Big V went down with some type of injury, and it seemed more serious than the previous ones. And my question is: are any of our backups reliable? Because if we do lose our O-lineman, what the hell is going to happen? So we're going to start with you, right or wrong?
I mean, I think Decker. I think Tyrell Crosby's all right. I mean, I don't think I'd be comfortable with him starting 16 games in a season, but I feel like if he has to step in for a game or two, I'd be okay with that. But I mean, our offensive line depth really isn't that good. And if we lose Big V for any significant amount of time, let alone the season, it's going to be pretty rough.
All right, Jim, what are your thoughts on this one?
Right now, as far as I can tell, we have like one guy that's healthy. You know what I mean? At the tackle position is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, yeah, at the tackle position. So Dan Skipper was injured a little bit. Tyrell Crosby's the only one we have at this point that I know isn't injured. Decker was dealing with something. I don't know what it was. Big V went down. Yeah, we would have to go. I would watch it and see if they're gonna assign someone else just for a practice body for a little while. But at this point, we're gonna have to give it some time. We don't know what the injuries are. We don't know how significant all these injuries are. But I agree with right or wrong. We're very, very shallow at the tackle position.
Well, I mean, I definitely feel that way, which is why I brought this up, because Big V going down is one thing, but just hearing that, I'm like, because I know
we got
a
Bo
million
Benchwa
running backs.
back.
We got a million running backs, but hearing that, I'm like, if we did actually lose him, what would happen to the team? Because who's going to be there? So,
probably have to pick
what do you think about this, man?
We actually would probably have to pick somebody else up, to be honest.
Oh, I think Jim is on the delay.
I don't hit no delay on Jim or none of you.
Yeah, me neither.
No, I see he keeps talking like after.
No, like I hear him
just keep
fine.
talking.
I hear him just fine. I don't know what it is, but I hear him just fine.
Yeah,
I hear everybody just fine.
You might have to mute me. I just keep talking. No, I'm kidding.
Jim,
no, man, because I was like, wait, what is going on? But hey, yeah, maybe I just be like, yeah, all right, man, put you in timeout. We got Blue and Silver in the building. We got that Z in the building was good. We got Marcus Willis in the building. What up, though? We got the General View in the building. Was good, man. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already, man. We just having fun, enjoying the conversation. But yeah. So, are any of our backups at tackle reliable? What's your opinion on this, Luke?
Okay. Yes, they're reliable. And if they're not, it don't matter. We have brought in so many freaking offensive linemen since Bob Quinn has been here, and Bob Quinn has made it very clear that every person who comes into this building, he does nothing. If they make the team, they make the team. If they don't, he creates extensive profiles, so that way if he ever needs to dip back into something and he look at it, he can go, oh yeah, when he came in on a visit, he understood the playbook, or he had an injury, or maybe this was the situation. They track all this stuff. And to me, if our backups are not reliable, burn them up. Get them off this team in the first place. All right. So, but the truth is I think they are going to be reliable, because I think what you're going to ask them to do is going to be a lot different than previous years. Now, if we still finna pass the ball 35 to 45 times a game, no, they're not going to be reliable. But if you tell them we're going to have more of a balanced attack, more rush attack, yeah, we'll be fine. I mean, just get it somebody's way. I think we got good enough running back that can see somebody getting blocked and bounce off of it and take it somewhere to the distance. But again, in terms of the backup, where I'm worried about backups at, it ain't on offensive line. Now that D-line, I'll tell y'all right now, number 1 MVP, Danny Shelton. I better not hear he hurt because I don't know what we going to do. I don't. And before somebody tell me, well, we just signed Kevin Wilkins, I don't know what we gonna do. Okay, that's my response.
I don't be like that. He don't even deserve to be mentioned. No,
like that's my response to we signed Kevin Wilkins from Rutgers.
No, so yeah, I like how you just said all of that, and it's good that you're on the opposite side of this. But yeah, no, they're not reliable because Bob Quinn, with his same system and his same little Rolodex, got Matthew Stafford sacked 10 times in a week and then 7 times the next week. So
I said that though.
I'm not
40 times.
I mean, yeah, I'm not.
I did say that.
I know I'm not, but I'm still not too confident in it. But I'm gonna try to be positive. You know, that's all I can go with that stance because I've seen Stafford throughout his career and with this team, with this regime, and it hasn't been good. And you know, when I think about it, I do believe in Tyrell Crosby though. I do think he could step in, but he's so inconsistent. So. You know, but let's stay on the positive side.
Let's let the blasphemy begin. The blasphemy begin. It's time to move on from Tyrell Crosby. I don't know how much more time you want to give this man for real. It's time to move on, bro.
Who's better than him on the team though?
Apparently to the Lions, everybody. Hell, they went out and drafted 2 goddamn guards.
It's guards, but not no tackles, though.
They signed Big V and gave him a multi-year deal. Look how many holding penalties and weird penalties we got from Taylor Decker. They didn't even feel comfortable enough to let him walk because this guy did not step in and take it over. It's time to call a spade and just go ahead and end this thing with if he goes somewhere else and he do his thing, bravo. I ain't mad at him.
But see, you know, when you talk about getting Tyrell Crosby off the team and Kenny Wiggins still on the squad, I don't know. Let's get rid of guys like him and you know guys like Abushi who are what they are first.
Okay, listen. Let's say I play devil's advocate. Let's say I decide to walk down that dark alley with you, right? Let's just say I just want to go. All right, but let's just be honest. Has he not been given opportunity at center, guard, tackle? I mean, and he just ain't. He's not able to keep the other person at bay. Who called up the Detroit Lions for Tyrell Crosby? Nobody. And to be honest with you, you talk about Kenny Wiggins, but they brought Kenny Wiggins back. How much confidence do they got in Tyrell Crosby? They added a whole other. They brought Abushi back to play tackle. They brought in Skipper. It's all these people they don't brought in to be on the offensive line. What we can't keep acting like Tyrell Crosby is the answer, man. He has.
Let me ask you this. So, was Lincoln Tomlinson the answer?
No.
But a team was able to make use of it. And that's all my point. When you got guys like Kenny Wiggins on the squad, like
Calvin Noy left the Lions and went over to New England ball. I don't care. You want to talk about Lakeland Tomlinson. Lakeland Tomlinson has always been a run person, but if you watch the way that they run the ball and how they set things up, Lakeland Tomlinson is not the focal point. They do all this different stuff where they do pulling guards to his side when they usually call on his side for the ball to go that way. Outside of that, the Lions have already shown that, hey, we're giving this guy a shot, but he ain't doing nothing to blow us away or to make us change our mind about it. My whole thing is this. When next year's draft come around, if we have one, fingers crossed, prayers going up, okay? If we have one, the Lions are going to be heavy in free agency and adding more offensive linemen. And I'm telling you, if Tyrell Crosby was the answer, they're not doubling like me, Nomis. Well, now that I think about it, it was only me and Nomis. We were the only two who said we would be okay if they took an offensive lineman in the first round and that they should take an offensive lineman in the first round before they take a cornerback. And we was like, if you're not going to take Isaiah Simmons, you better take an offensive lineman. That tells me that Tyrell Crosby has not lived up to his bill and he's not seizing his moment. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but see, I don't care about all that. I don't care about him living up to some hype. He's still on the team. He's still in competition, and we're going to see who wins that competition. Obviously, the Lions think enough of him that he's still on the team to compete with these guys. I don't need him to be the savior of the world. I need him to come in for some snaps and be productive, or anybody that's at that tackle position. So, yeah, I don't care that he's not the savior. I just need him to be a role player.
He's had his shot. Like Ryder,
I really don't think he's been out. He's had as much opportunity as you say. He's been out there, but he ain't been out there enough where you say he's had his shot. I mean, he had a shot would mean he's starting for multiple games.
I'm saying, but what's enough though? Like, what do you mean by enough? How much is enough?
I don't think he hasn't had enough time. There is no enough. We have a bunch of young guards on the team. Like when your offensive line is in flux like ours, there isn't enough. How much is enough when it comes to Kenny Williams? Like,
yeah, but that's the point I'm trying to make. Listen, J-Mo, you and I both know we got players we don't like, right? We just I don't like this player. For me, I did not like Tavon Austin, or whatever his damn name is, Wilson. That's what it was. Tavon was. Look, I don't even remember the dude's fucking name. Wilson, yeah. That's how much I didn't like him. Because I saw where he was somebody that can be replaced easily. And the Lions saw the same thing. They made him take a pay cut and everything to stay on the squad. And I'm saying, I get what you're saying about Kenny Wiggins. But Terrell Crosby has had his fair chance to seize the moment. And I'm not saying that you just want to give up on him. I'm just saying that at what point do we start as fans? At what point do we start to just say, man, is he ever going to take that lead? Because when we got him out of college, I remember him in college. I was like, oh man, ball game. He finna ball. They don't played around with this dude a few times and everything.
Yeah, but see, that's what I was saying. I don't think anybody is thinking about Terrell Crosby and he's not living up to his hype. Like that's what I was saying. You talking about, he hasn't took that leap. I don't think any fan is upset with that. Maybe you. But I haven't heard anybody be like, oh, man, Terrell, he's just not good enough, and we shouldn't even have him on the squad, and he's just so underperformed. I haven't heard any of those sentiments. So, I think because we know what he's going to be for our team. Like, it's not like, now, if he was supposed to be a starter, that would be different. But when it comes to this, I just feel like fans are content with what he is right now on the team. Simple as that.
I'm not discounting or acting as if though you're not making no valid point. I'm merely making that he played in 16 games, started 5, and usually if you do something, your spot, you take it. You earn that spot, you hold it down, and you take it. And what I think we're seeing right now is this trend where people, who are getting that shot that one time or not, it's not happening. Now Steve-O says Crosby is a 5th round pick that can play both tackle positions. Listen, I'm with you, but yet the Lions somehow don't believe it because they keep bringing in all these linemen.
Yeah, but maybe they just think he's a backup, and maybe if we got a backup in the 5th round, that's not a terrible thing. I don't know if he's projected to be a starter at this point, but at least he give us some depth, which we sorely need right now at the tackle position.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next topic. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. Now, okay. All right. So we hear about a lot of stuff going on with training camp. This person is doing this. This person is doing that. But I need to hear certain things for me to want to believe certain things. Hop on certain hype trains, but something that's been unusual that we've been hearing about is guys like Nick Williams, Luke Boyd, Danny Shelton, Quintez Cephas, and TJ Hockenson. They have surprised in camp. Now we know it's just practice. As AI said, it's just practice. But are these good things to hear, considering that we need reliable defensive tackles? Nick Williams and Danny Shelton. Cephas is supposed to be this new receiver to replace Marvin Jones, who's making one-handed catches still. And then we got TJ Hockenson out here embarrassing everybody, but apparently Tracy Walker put an end to his reign of terror, and then his reign of terror continued. But we're going to start with you, right around. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's always good to hear that your players are playing well. I mean, if you've ever played sports at any level, your coach is always going to tell you practice how you play. So if our players are practicing good, if TJ Hawkinson's dominating in practice, if Quintez Cephas and Nick Williams and all these guys are dominating in practice, then they're going to be playing well on Sundays. I mean, that's just how it is. If you're playing well in practice, if you're putting in the work in practice, the results are going to show up in games. So, I mean, I think it's great that they're all playing this well.
You know, yeah, it's great. It's good. You know, it's nothing to overreact about. But my thing is, one of the things that I think why a lot of reporters are talking about them, specifically these players, is where was the bar set? I'm pretty sure they were maybe the perception was to ease in on what TJ Hawkinson was going to do. You know what I'm saying? But they just didn't expect him to come and look like, you know, the best receiver on the team besides Galladay and Jones. You know, just instantly, and it's just not even close. You know, just cooking corners and safeties and like no, nobody can cover the guy. And where's the bar? Nick Williams, you know, a lot of people don't think much of him. I always thought he would be good for us because I talked to some Care Bears fans and they really liked him. So, but right, you know, that's what I call them. I've been calling them the Care Bears for years.
Yeah.
Care Bears fans. And, you know, Danny Shelton, yeah, he was supposed to come in here and be the starting D tackle, but no one would say he's supposed to, let's say, be better than Snacks when Snack was here. And I'm not saying that's what he's doing. But who knows? If Danny Shelton ball like this, we might see some, you know, some special things for him. And then Cephas, you know, some people didn't think he was going to make the team. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what y'all looking at, but I'm looking at it. That boy got it.
Yeah.
Like I told y'all, I'm like, that boy
don't say
got
some people, say Luke. Luke thought,
I mean, not even you, Luke. It's people that I wouldn't even think about you. I mean, some
but
people,
you know what
there's a lot of people on my comments when I made my videos about Cephas was like, nah, he ain't gonna be that good. But I would. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't even personalize you. But if you want to take that on the chin, you can go ahead and take it. He making a squad.
Listen. They've been saying they've been praising his time. And the reason why I didn't think he would make the team was because they had already made that commitment to those other receivers the year before. And then they cut them. And I was like, I'm like, okay. Didn't see that coming. And then on top of that, the emergence of Jamal Agnew from corner to receiver was another thing that added into the pot. So now you got that going. And then the last thing that stood out to me was the Lions do this kind of stuff. Because like I remember when it was when it was Tim Toon. I don't know if people remember Tim Toon. When Tim Toon was the training camp hero, they cut him. Mm-hmm. No questions asked. Then it was Brandon Powell. They cut him too. like every time it's the guy up that we think is gonna make the team as a receiver or something like that, they cut him. And so that's why I was like, I don't think he's gonna make the team. But if he do, then hey, I'll stand here and be corrected. Hey, get no shame in my game.
Hey, when he made the team and Agnew makes the team as a receiver, we'll be here to talk about it. But I was gonna say, you know, these players, the bar is set low. Nobody expected much from them compared to some of the other players on the team. And I think it's a value to that when they're seeing them ball out in training camp. But you know, we know it's just practice, as AI says, Joe. But is this a good thing to hear? And I'm specifying on these specific positions and these players because I think it's significant.
One thing significant to me is Danny Shelton because he's going up against Frank Ragnow, which I think is probably a top 10 center in this league. It's good that you're going up against. It's good that you're doing well in practice, but who are you going up against? So that's something that is significant to me about Danny Shelton. He beat him quite a few times, and that's very positive for me. On Cephas, I think Cephas is also a really good blocking wide receiver too, which is underrated. I think at some points he's going to replace Danny Amendola. Excuse me, Danny Amendola.
Season.
$6 million.
No. I'm just saying on certain plays when they want to run the ball.
I mean, by mid-season, Danny ain't gonna be getting no more touches, but we ain't gonna go there.
No, I'm just saying though. I'm saying on some run plays, I would not be surprised to see him in there as a blocking receiver. He's very physical. He's a good receiver. He really is. So I think he'll make the team. But going up against the talent, I want to see them going up against the Bears like we all do. That week 1, man. I want to see them ball out then. TJ Hawkinson's interesting as well because of the injury and then that bad ankle injury he had last year, and he's moving around really good and he's catching touchdown passes. So I'm hoping he makes a big jump this year, and Nick Williams as well. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes when we play other teams.
Yeah, I know Andrew from the Real Detroit Lions fans. Make sure you guys subscribe to their channel if you haven't already, and make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. He always was hyping up Danny Shelton, and I was like, okay. But they when a guy beating Frank Ragnow, I'm not gonna ignore that. So it looked like he's doing really well, and like him and Nick Williams, like damn, people don't want to see them right now. But I knew Cephas was gonna be a good receiver, man. His route running and his catching ability, he makes these spectacular catches, and he can run routes like a little bit slower Marvin Jones type of receiver. So, and I do think once he gets out on the field, and I just want people to know we're assuming that the season will be somewhat semblance of normal,
Right.
But once he gets out on the field, I think that he's gonna start balling with Stafford so much by mid-season. You're not gonna be throwing Danny Amendola out there, and see, Danny is here to be that third down security blanket. He'd be doing that for his career, but I think Kenny Galladay or T.J. Hockenson or Jones, somebody's gonna step up as that new third down guy, because our third down guy used to be Tate and used to be Calvin, but it's now like Danny. But I think he's gonna lose that position to somebody else, and we just gonna start putting Cephas in because he's gonna be a problem in the red zone. I wouldn't be surprised if Cephas got a lot of touchdowns, like when Tony Sheffield just snuck up and just got 6 touchdowns out of nowhere. I wouldn't be surprised if Cephas had like 200, 300 yards, but he had like 6 touchdowns. So
Right.
just because of the red zone thing, and that's why T.J. Hockenson could also lead the league in touchdowns. But like I said, it's just practice. But Hockenson, y'all know how high I'm on this guy, but I'm just watching. I'm actually watching what he doing, and it's not nothing that is gonna be any different in the game. Like I feel so bad for Amani Warrior what he did to him. Like that was dirty. Like you're not supposed to be doing that to your teammates. And I'm like,
Right.
yo, this the same Amani that picked up Aaron Rodgers or something Slay never did. But yo, you can't let a tight end cook you like that. And he did it to everybody. Like we said, Tracy Walker, he put an end to that. And that's what I love to hear, because some people were kind of concerned that our receivers were cooking all of our DBs. So to hear that Tracy Walker went on TJ and stopped his reign of terror, I'm like, well, that makes sense, and I'm glad to hear that. But Luke, you got anything else to say about this?
Listen, y'all know me. I'm on that AI stuff. Practice, not a game, but we talking about practice. Not the game that I love, but practice. My attitude to it is this: Danny Shelton doing something to Frank Ragnow don't make a difference. This idea of certain people doing certain things bad, I'm not going to kill them on. One of the reasons why T.J. Hockenson stood out to me as a pick for the Lions was because he was a unicorn at what he did. Most of the times, the tight ends are not asked to put their hand in the dirt in the block. He did. He was asked to do that. When I look at the receivers who are not very good blockers, you got to think that most of these guys in college, hell, probably even from high school, are not asked to do these things. So to me, the things that I want to hear from practice is realistically is who made it out not hurt. That's the first one. Who was in what lineup? That's a huge one for me. And the most important one, the most important one was that they're being competitive. If you're being competitive, you're going to lose some battles. I consider myself the Uno King, but I can't win every game. Okay, so I'm just saying that if they have that level of consistency and competitiveness, I'm good with it. But what they doing in practice, I can care less. That's all like mouth service. They just trying to hype up things, get the people going, get the blood going, get the juices going, and then we get in the game and all this. Yeah, he locked down every receiver in practice, and we get in the game to get somebody else, and we expecting to see him lock him down for at least a play, and then we look up and realize that ain't happening. I don't care. I don't. I just want to make sure that we can stay healthy, that everybody can stay unified, and that they can be competitive. That's all I care about. Now, really quick, Benjamin Foe asks, were they going to allow people at the games? I believe it's not for the first 2 games, that they are not allowing anybody at those games. So that won't be happening. Demetrius Darhell Wingery, I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I botched your name. I suck at this. Welcome to the show. Happy you here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss when we go live. But outside of that, make sure y'all hit those likes, ladies and gentlemen. And we do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. And it does rotate from channel to channel, but we do have an official Detroit Sports Alliance YouTube channel. That's where we're going to do a lot of the streaming, especially once the season gets started. So you want to go over there and you want to make sure that you subscribe. Rachel is in the building, so welcome, Queen. I see the Queen of the Den is in the building. Welcome.
What's good, Rachel?
Am I missing anybody? I don't want to make sure I miss somebody. I see Cherie Pam. Did I say that right? Cherie Pam. Welcome to the show. It says that boy. Can you explain what that want?
Yeah, let's ignore that, man. We gonna move on. Oh. So since Real just upset me in the chat, this brings up this question because see, this is why I made this question. So Matthew Stafford looks like he's in the best shape of his life. We heard about the little he threw a pick to Reggie Ragland, and then he running with him stride for stride 40 yards downfield. I know Lions fans, the non-casuals, we know as long as Stafford isn't, hurt, he definitely can be a quarterback that can move, especially when he was younger. I mean, we seen him back in the day with the New York game. But the thing is, Stafford is always a mobile quarterback, but it only lasts for 3 weeks. And why is that? Because by that time he's been sacked a billion times, and now he's playing different because he has some nick, and it usually happens like that. I'm telling you, man. You see Stafford all mobile, and then something happened, and then it's gone. So I wanted to bring that up and talk about the fact that we have so many offensive pieces added, and we hearing about all the skill positions that's doing great. So. What do you think it means for the Lions that Stafford is 100% moving like mobile Stafford? How would that change this team this year? Him being healthy and not being injured, like Real said. And with all of the added weapons and the supposed balance on the offense, do you think this season, if it's a normal season, I'll keep saying that, that Stafford will have the best offense in his career? We're going to start with you, Jeff. With all of the weapons and things.
I do. I think he'd have the best offense because I believe he's going to have a running game this year. I think there's a lot of people that do, and I think that does help Stafford quite a bit. And I think it helps him also not to get hurt because of the fact that if we can hand the ball off effectively, those DNs won't be able to, or jack linebackers, whoever's going to be doing the rushing, not going to be able to just pin their ears back on every play. They know it's a passing play, so they're going after the quarterback. They're going to have to stay at home just a little bit more, and that gives him a little bit more time, and it keeps him upright. Even if the offensive line isn't great, if we can have some semblance of a running game, that will help him a lot, and I believe we will.
I'm probably gonna be the minority on this one. If Stafford go down, this team should still win. And this season, in the current climate, the way it is, we should still win games. I have a hard time with this belief that we didn't win the game without Stafford. That's a fact. But Driscoll and Blau play well enough for us to win those games. And the best answer I've seen came from Blue and Silver. If Stafford goes down, the Lions better learn to be the best run team in the league. Mm-hmm. They have to. Like Stafford going down to me is no longer the excuse to be counted for. It can't. If he goes down again and we end up getting another top 3 pick, hands down they're taking a quarterback, obviously, right? But to me, let's be honest about this and just be clear. Good teams with good leadership still find ways to win. Don't believe me? Go talk to the Steelers. I still want to know who Dustin Duck is. Where the hell did Dustin Duck come from? And to me, this team needs to be prepared for stuff like that. That's a sign of good leadership. That's a sign of good coaching and good unity when they can come together and corral around it. And that, to me, is where the standard should be. This team should still win, even if Stafford goes down. With this year.
Okay, so to answer the second question, do you think it's going to be the best offense that Stafford will have in his career?
No. Nope.
And what offense do you think was the best?
I don't think we're gonna get the chance to see it. I don't. To me, I think what most people do is they come in, they look at Stafford. And to me, it's the same thing they did with Michael Vick, the same thing they're gonna do with Lamar Jackson, the same thing you come in, you look and you go, oh, this guy got a cannon. Air it out. It's stupid. Michael Vick, oh, he can run the ball. Lamar Jackson, he can run the ball. And to me, I think they're going to keep playing to the strength of him passing. Now, I do believe that he'll have a run game. But to me, I want a efficient run game, meaning that they're getting 3 or more yards a carry. Well, you can't even be 3 because we've had years where we had 3 and that just wasn't good enough. So they got to be over 3.5 yards per carry. So to me, no, I'm not ready to say this is going to be his best offense because what I have to see is them commit to the damn run. And I don't think they're going to do that. I mean, even when you go back to some of the old timers like John Elway, who had a cannon, they still didn't want to commit to the run with Terrell Davis. It had to be almost forced into their hand for that to happen. So I think the Lions are still going to have the quarterback throwing the ball a lot. But I think it'll be a little bit balanced. And I don't know if I would grant that as the best offense he's had. It certainly looks like this is going to be the best offensive coordinator he's had. But best offense, I mean, you forget he had Calvin Johnson. He's had Golden Tate with Calvin Johnson. He just didn't have a run game. So that's the thing I got to see. If they commit to the run, I'm down for it.
Well, the talent of those players are good, but our offense wasn't really that good with Golden Tate and Calvin Johnson on it in 14 and 15. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, obviously, I know you have seemed like you have PTSD about us running the ball, but job is best, man. I'm not saying Swift is best. I ain't saying Carrion is best, but I'm just saying once we find somebody that can do the damn thing, we giving them the ball. I mean, when Stafford was at Georgia, they had a running game and he had AJ Green and they worked off of that. The defense was up and down sometimes, but they worked off of that. So Stafford is used to still scoring points and having a running game. But I think we will if the season is normal, because I really don't know about that. But considering that the season might be normal, who knows? I do think we'll have the best offense because a lot of the failures with our team comes with finishing drives, whether it's not being able to run the ball in or being predictable so they can, drop a lot of guys in the coverage to tighten up the red zone or double Kenny or double Marv so we can't get our situations going. And I feel like with our matchups with all of the skill players we have now, that would allow us to finish those drives because to me, it's about matchups. Now we have a team where, you don't need Marvin Jones on the field. Like, I feel like what was that in Oakland? You didn't have Marvin Jones or Kenny Galladay or on the field or something like that, and we end up losing the game. But in this type of situation, if you didn't have him on the field, you could throw Swift out there with Jamal Agnew. It's just a lot of the matchups with all of the skill players we have now. I feel like it's going to cause a lot of problems for teams, and the play creativity with Darrell Bevel is going to be something and be a sight to behold. So I just think we'll be scoring more points because we'll be able to finish drives with a lot of the mismatches, and our running backs are definitely going to play a role in that. The O-line, I hope y'all hold up. That's the one thing that I'm more concerned with. But if things are normal, I just think we're going to be scoring a lot of points. But I think this definitely will be the best offense because it's going to be a passing and it's going to be a balanced attack. Right or wrong, what's your thoughts about this?
I mean, if you look at the talent on the roster, it should be, right? Because now Matthew Stafford has all this talent at running back. He has all this talent at receiver, all this talent at tight end. But the only thing, in my opinion, that's going to hold this offense back is the coaching. And, I think Darrell Bevel's a good coach, but even we saw sometimes last year, he abandoned the run at some weird times. Like, he made some questionable decisions. I mean, he's a good offensive coordinator, and we saw that last year. But, I just feel like it comes down to the coaching because the talent can get it done. But if your coaching staff and your coaches don't put you in the right position, if they don't call the right plays, then your offense isn't going to do anything anyway. So I think we definitely have the talent, but to me, it comes down to how the players are coached on Sunday.
Well, if Patricia isn't calling timeouts in games that we're gonna win, then we'll win some games.
That time,
but and if we can build some consistency,
lost that game. We got to stop with that. That timeout is not what lost that game. That is not.
And I'm going to disagree with you, and I don't even feel like wasting time on it.
Listen. You can disagree, but that timeout is not what lost that game. When that
completely
timeout,
disagree.
When did that timeout happen? How much time was left in the game when that timeout happened?
I don't know.
You go and look it up. Then you're going to realize why I say it didn't lose the game.
No, it lost the game because it didn't. I mean, that play would have won the game. That's the difference. That's the difference. The timeout isn't called. We literally win the game.
I don't. That might be just saying. Me and you might debate that one.
I don't know what is to debate. Stafford made the play, and he was running for a touchdown. And he caught a timeout. You took the play back.
Yeah, I think we should debate that, J-Mo.
Let's see. With no preseason this season, it makes me really excited to see what this team looks like against the Bears week 1. Well, mainly to see what the running game looks like because I think they'll be ready for our matchups with that. So we got to make sure that Swift stays healthy out here. But there's one more thing that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, you guys know that I've been a huge proponent of Jelani Tavai, and I think he was improving, and he had a solid season last year. And you're seeing some articles, and people are talking about it. And Matt Patricia said one thing that Jared Davis didn't have that he wants to make sure that Jelani Tavai has because Jared Davis is depending on guys like Christian Jones and Devon Kennard, and before that, his first year, he was basically, the starting guy. He wants Tavai to have some veteran linebackers to help him grow and improve. And, he's been doing well in practice. We haven't heard anything bad about him. But when you look at guys like, can't believe I'm saying it, but Reggie Ragland, and then guys like Jamie Collins, and what Tavai is supposed to do in improving as a middle linebacker, because I do think the Lions are molding him to be a star for this team. You guys always hear me scream about how bad our linebacking core is, and that's because it's too many unknowns. If the players play to their potential, then I would have faith. But so I'm going to you right or wrong. Is Jelani Tavai in for a big improvement with that year 2, and now having those veterans to continue to help him with the defense, maybe Jamie Collins?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at what Jelani Tavai did last year. He was drafted in the 2nd round. Everybody kind of hated the pick because they thought we could have got him later. But I thought Jelani Tavai played very well last year. I think he made a lot of big plays for this defense. I'm not going to say he was the best player on the defense, but I think that you could make a case that he was one of the best players on that defense last year. I mean, he got an interception. He forced a fumble on the goal line that, pretty much won that game against the Chargers. He made some big plays last year and, exceeded at least my expectations for him. And, I think bringing in veteran linebackers that are going to teach him what to do, just so Jelani Tavai has that guy to bounce ideas off of, that guy that, can see things from the same place that Jelani does and just help him develop from the mental side of the game. I mean, it's only going to help him. There's no way that you can bring in a veteran presence and it's going to hurt his development. And I think bringing in these veteran linebackers is the right thing. I think we messed that up with Jared Davis, and I think it's going to help Jared Davis too at this point. I don't think it's too late for him, but I just think bringing in veterans of the game that have experienced so much more is only going to help these young linebackers progress that much faster.
I definitely like what you had to say on that. What about you, John? What's your thoughts on this?
I agree with right or wrong on this one. I also think that Jamie Collins there, and Tavai even said that I'm, eliminating extra steps or extra movements. And the thing is this is a game of inches, and I'm telling you, just one little step, you know what I'm saying? Somebody could blow by you. It can make all the difference. And I think that the mentorship from Jamie Collins in this defense and other linebackers, Reggie Ragland you mentioned. But I think Jamie Collins is really going to be a huge influence on Jelani Tavai, and I do see him taking a huge step forward this year.
Yeah, I see Shad said Ragland said the Lions have the same qualities as the Chiefs during their Super Bowl run. Yeah, we talked about that last week. And as I said last week, I think we talked. Did we talk about it on your channel, Jim?
Yeah, we did.
I think we did. And
Yep.
what I said on there, make sure you guys go check that out, the Detroit Sports Room. But I said it doesn't mean what he said is wrong. It doesn't mean we're gonna go out and win the Super Bowl, but I'm pretty sure he believes what he's saying, and he's right about what he's saying. We have some of the same qualities as the Chiefs did during their Super Bowl run. Don't mean we gonna go out and win anything, and that's where I'm at on that. But Luke, what's your whole thought on this whole situation with the way that the vets can help a linebacker like Tavai to develop?
I mean, I think it just that's an old tale. I mean, you know, if you listen to your grandparents, you might learn something. If you listen to your parents, you might learn something. So, I mean, a veteran in the league, even if he wasn't the best veteran at that position, you could still learn something. So, to me, any person that comes in and takes any type of lesson from a vet, that's good for them. That's a sign of great wisdom. You know what I mean? He's not trying to make his mistakes. He's learning from other people's mistakes and taking their word. So that's more of a plus, in my opinion, on the player who chooses to take that approach. And I think that most players who take that approach they have aspirations to be coaches. Some of them are just good people that want to help other players, you know, succeed because they know how hard it is, and nobody wants to help them for fear of losing their job. But the reality is any type of valuable information that you can get from a veteran player that you can take and give to a younger guy, take it. Because guess what's going to happen? When we put you out the door for being quote unquote old, guess who's going to have to teach the next young dude? He is. So if you're not, you know, you might as well spread that information and keep it going. I think it's all a good insight. I think Jim hit on it, and I definitely think Ryder hit on it as well with the importance of it. And I think that's where it boils down to it being a reality. So to me, anybody who takes any type of advice is a wise man, in my opinion.
Well, see, the reason why I think this matters is because I remember when Kenny Galladay came in here his first year, and he had Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. But when Danny Amendola came in, as much as Luke doesn't like him, when Danny Amendola came in, I think he had a very, very big impact on Kenny Galladay. I'm not going to say he had his best season because of Danny Amendola, but I'm going to say that it had a huge impact on him. And, you know, Jared Davis, we had linebackers in the linebacker room that were there before him, but, you know, we flushed all of those guys out. He really never really had anybody, and I don't really consider Devon Kennard that type of guy for that. And Jelani Tavai basically came into the same situation where he had to be the leader in the linebacking room. You got leader guys like Christian Jones, but he's just not providing anything. Because to me, when you're around real leaders, you see it on other teams, just not ours. When you're around real leaders, it elevates some of these young players, and they do mention it when they talk about their success. So consider it a guy like Jamie Collins coming in, because we want him to be Dante Hightower, Jamie Collins type of linebacker. That's exactly what we want him to be. So, you know, having a guy like that, and we already know Jamie Collins came in with that fire. Yeah, we not going 3-12 this year. You know what he's like? And I love that he said that, and I know it is true, but I feel like maybe he felt like he had to tell the fans that, because he was like, I don't know, maybe, kind of like, I don't know what y'all thought this was, but we ain't about to be losing like this. You know what I'm saying? And after seeing what happened with the team unifying, it just resonates from that level. But I think this is very, very important for him. It's important for the DBs back there, because I feel like Quandre Diggs had a huge impact on Tracy Walker. It seems, and now that Jeff Okudah, you have guys like Desmond Trufant there. I think it matters for our young players to be surrounded by that talent, because when I look at a lot of these other teams deeper, they're they're closely knit than we thought, and every little thing helps when you're trying to build a football team. And I think Tavai could be special. Anybody that Bill Belichick says is special more than once. He was like, oh, he's special. Then he saw him in the practice, was like, oh, no, he too special. So this is Bill Belichick. Come on. One of the greatest defensive minds ever. So I believe he can be that, and it's something that I love. And it's one thing that I wanted to harp back on we did talk about it a little bit, but I think this needs to be hammered home because I sense a change in this team, and I'm just hoping that it turns out on the field. If you guys haven't liked the video, make sure you guys like the video, and make sure you guys drop your questions because we will be wrapping up the show soon. So make sure you drop your questions in the chat. But so we talked about Patricia and this whole situation. And a lot of Lions fans who are pro Patricia, he doesn't have his guys. He doesn't have his guys. He needs to get his guys in there to build what he's going to build. And it seems like some things have been going on. So my question to the panel is Matt Patricia showing that he's learning and growing as a coach? And if so, how do you think that's going to change this team? And we're going to start with you, Luke.
Listen, it's 100% he's showing that. That's the biggest praise I can give him. I mean, if you don't believe me, just go and look at it night and day. Look at his interview when he first became Lions head coach. Then look at his interviews now. Totally different. I mean, he on the screen with the Nate Burleson jersey behind him. He wasn't doing that before. He was all tight-lipped and tight-butt, just wouldn't say nothing. How you doing today, Matt? We're going to go out here and play a football game. Matt, we noticed that you got a few guys banged up. How are you guys handling the injuries? We're gonna go out here and play a football game. That was the first year. This year, man, how you doing today? Hey, man, you looking real good over there. I'm really loving your tie. It's a total different tone. The media people see the difference in the tone. We, the fans, see the difference in the tone. The reality is this is exactly what he was supposed to do when he first came in. It's so crazy that it's one of the reasons why I'm doing a video on the new Matt Patricia. I actually like the new Matt Patricia. The first Matt Patricia, I could tell he was an a-hole. I'm sorry, but I could tell. He was too busy trying to be somebody that he wasn't. And this the first season where I think the real Matt Patricia stood up. The real Matt Patricia is actually being himself for the first time. And I think if he had came in being himself in the first place, he'd have had a whole different experience. This is something totally different. So to me, I'm loving the growth in Matt Patricia. The fact that he can admit that he has some flaws. Yeah, he got rid of Pasqualoni, but he also went and added a whole lot of pieces to try to do something with the defense. Yeah, he didn't have a run game. He added a running back. So he's showing a number of improvements that line up with the narrative that he understands that he needs to make improvements, and this was before the losing came, because he realized that approach of trying to beat Bill Belichick wasn't going to work.
I will say it seems like he's Matt Patricia now. We got Blue and Silver saying Stafford gonna have 50 TDs taken to the bank. All right. And then we have Steve-O saying that Stafford matured into the leader of this team during the last year and a half. I don't think it's anything new. I just think I don't know if fans want to put more stock into it. I don't know why, because we've seen Stafford do a lot of leadership level things, but he never gets any credit for it. Now y'all want to give him credit for it. Now it's funny to me. But what Patricia, it do just like you said. What you say, the real Patricia stand up?
Yep.
It seemed like that.
I made a video yesterday titled "The Real Matt Patricia Stands Up," because I'm telling you, this is the guy who he's been. He was trying to do it Bill Belichick way. It was not going to work. He didn't have Bill Belichick like clout. Like, you can't do that when you don't have Bill Belichick clout.
And I'm gonna take this question next because I've been noticing something. I'm just looking at the practices and the atmosphere, and I can tell, man. I can completely tell the atmosphere and the culture. I don't know. We don't know if this is gonna determine the wins, and we had that culture argument when it comes to wins before, but it's definitely different in the building. And the players are different, and you see a different Matt Patricia. And I do think he's learning and growing as a coach, but that's what you have to see because, we can criticize him and hold him accountable, but if he's showing that he's improving, that's one thing. I don't like to give him too much credit for bringing in Darrell Bevell, but if Darrell Bevell ended up helping us win the Super Bowl, he getting all the credit in the world. Obviously, he would get credit if we won the Super Bowl, but who knows? Maybe Darrell Bevell was all the change that we needed, and him to get his head out of his what. But I like what I'm seeing from Patricia. I love what how he supported the players, but one thing that's unusual is, and I think it has to be something deeper than just getting his guys. He just seems way too comfortable this year. Like he seems like he has no pressure at all in the most pressure cooked year. You know, maybe I'm just alone on that, but he just seems all, you know, it just seems like he's not as worried about what he has to do. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. I don't know where it's coming from. I want to say it's not something as simple as getting your guys in, but maybe it's just getting the pulse of the team and knowing what you have to do to go out and win for your system to be correct. So I definitely applaud him for that. And we'll see what it goes. We'll see if it turns out on the field, because if we start winning games, we had a time where we were in the midst of winning those games last year in those first 4 games of the season. So if we can turn that out and get some results, it'll be good. But I love what he's doing, because I can tell the atmosphere in the room is a little bit different, and it's good for the players and the continuity of the team. But Ryder,
really quick, I just want to interject this in. I think Chris is on to something where he says, listen, he's like, look, you can praise him for how he's changed his perception in the media. When it comes to coaching, has it changed? And when it comes to the games, you know, he wants to know, like, hey,
yeah, that's what I just said.
This guy going to revert back to this old self. And I just think overall that, you know, I'm not saying that, again, Matt Patricia still got to prove me wrong. But in terms of how his image and what people were saying, he's 100% did a full 360.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We got to see it. We gonna see if it actually works out on the field. But all right, Jim, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I gotta say, I do believe that he's done a self-evaluation. If you look at him last year, just the facial expressions in year 1 to year 2 to year 3, it looks like the weight of the world is off his shoulders right now. And I think that some of it is because of the locker room. Some of it is because he's got his guys in. Some of it's because he's self-aware and has decided to change some of the things. I do agree I need to see it on the field, but I feel there's a sense of camaraderie and unity that I haven't felt in a long time here, and I'm very optimistic about it. I just want to see it done on the field. I mean, we always get really optimistic before we have a season, but this is something different. It just feels lighter.
I was about to say, I am always optimistic, but this is different, and I'm glad you had said that.
Yeah, it feels different to me. It really does. I've been a fan for 40 some years, and it's like, yeah, there is something different about this. It really, and so I'm excited. I'm really excited to see this product on the field. If everybody plays for each other, they can overachieve. Even if people think that they're not that good or whatever, because I've heard all kinds of things, 12 and 4 to 4 and 12 and all this other stuff. But if these guys can play together, they can be maybe a whole better than the sum of the parts, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no doubt.
Some of the parts are better than just
right or wrong, man. No doubt. Right or wrong, what's your thoughts on this situation, man?
I mean, if you have to give credit to Matt Patricia for one thing, it has to be his self-improvement throughout his 3 years. Because, I mean, like in the first year, it seemed like players couldn't even breathe in his direction without Matt Patricia snapping. I mean, he was going after guys for little things. I mean, he pretty much, he pretty much killed Darius Slay for, something not that big on his first day. And really just his image in the beginning, like Luke was saying with the media, just like, they were asking a question. He's like, yeah, we're going to play football. And then like this year, it just seems like he's so much happier. It just seems like he's having so much more fun going out there with his guys and playing football. It seems like the first year, this was just a job to him. It was just a title, go win football games. And I feel like this year he's out there having fun. He's enjoying what he's doing. And I mean, I just feel like he's improved so much from where he was in year 1. And even, I think it says a lot that Matt Patricia's biggest hater and Darius Slay, the guy that, hates him the most in the NFL, came out on national television and said, yeah, he got better from year 1 to year 2. And I think in year 3, he got even better.
We don't, and yeah, that was a thing though. We said we want to see it on the field, but we were a worse football team, and obviously, I always said it's because Stafford was hurt. If he's healthy, we win more than 6 games. But we were a 3-12 football team. For Slay to still say that's what matters to me the most, because we were 3-12. and I'm sure he knows that more than anybody else, and you still wanted to say that, and you can tell he was being honest about that. But make sure you guys drop your questions in the chat. I'm gonna start reading some comments now. It's a lot of comments, guys. I'm gonna go over. Let's see, we got Bravo in the building. Make sure you guys sub to his channel and check out Above the Rim on Saturdays. Free Smoke Saturday. Y'all know what it is. He says, you think there will be an NFL this year, or is 2020 too much for us? I'm at a point where they say that they're going to start the season in 3 weeks, in 18 days. I'll believe it when I see it, and when it does start, when is a COVID case going to pop out or something? And, so I'm like, baseball, they had it where, they had those cases, but they're still continuing. But so I really don't know what's going to go on with that. Anybody else got a comment on that?
No, I think we're gonna have a season, but just like baseball, they got to keep checking on it. They have to keep, be vigilant and stay on task. I think that's the biggest thing. And if they do that, I believe we'll have a season. And I don't know how normal it's going to be, but I think we'll have a season.
All right. Let's see. C. Perry says Matt P will be in middle of the league, and the offense will be top 10. Stafford has grown as a man. Now we actually have time to see some real team foundation. I mean, like I said, I've always think he's been like that, but fans want to act different all of a sudden. Like, hey man, I'm just saying, like, when they say that, I'm like, y'all, this the same dude. Man, come on! Like this the same dude that plays with broken bones in his back. We talking about, he's finally different as a leader. Come on, like he's been this way. It's just I guess everybody want to be on the bandwagon because maybe the talent and is the best. Because I think the main issue with the Lions not winning is we can't get the coach, the offensive coordinator, and the quarterback together. We've never been able to do it. Even with Barry Sanders, we still didn't have a quarterback that could win us a Super Bowl. But all right, let's see. The general view says Tavai made a good point on how different Underland and Patricia are, but how good they work together could have the same effect as Bevel did on the offense. Well, I said that I think that Underland is going to have some input. I'm not saying it's going to be a lot, but I think it's going to be a 70-30 type situation. And I don't know what that input is going to be. I'm not going to even speculate, but I think he will have some impact on that. Right or wrong, you got some thoughts on that?
He can't be worse than Paul Pasqualoni.
Facts.
I mean, come on. I mean, I'm not worse than Paul Pasqualoni, and I don't even have defensive schemes. So,
listen. The reality is this. The reality is that when you look at this team, you look at this year. Everybody, we do this every year. We get to a point where we like, oh, we believe. This year, it has to happen. Half the teams in our division, most of their players opt out. Some are hurt. And the team that I think that was going to be the biggest one to beat has a completely young defense in the Minnesota Vikings. If not now, when?
I'm with you on that because I've said this plenty of times. Y'all know how big of a Stafford fan I am. I need this to happen because if it don't, they're gonna destroy it all, and we gonna be in purgatory for the next 10 years. Like, y'all don't have to believe that, but yeah, I don't think Jim can vouch for me on that.
Yep.
So yeah, we have to do something this year, or it's probably all over. Even if it's Matt Patricia might get that fourth COVID year, as you say, Luke, but we got to do something this year, or like if not now, when, man? Like, I'm with you on that, but that Z said something about what you were just saying. Says, do you think we'll be able to beat the Vikings? Yes. Vikings have been pretty good. They've been whooping on us, but I feel like they faced undermanned Lions teams a lot. But I do think we'll beat them.
You know what? Let me tell you something. It's funny. I was watching. Like, listen, people, don't kill me. I pay attention to the Minnesota Vikings people, YouTubers, and their YouTube page and news, the Packers and the Bears. And a reporter asked Mike Zimmerman, Like, what are you gonna do about this young defense that you got? You lost a lot of guys. And he responded with a simple, I've never had a bad defense. That level of confidence and swag is not normal, people. And I'm not gonna act like we just gonna walk up in Minnesota or have Minnesota come here and we gonna put the spanking on them. What I can tell you is right now that they coach feels highly confident in what he has put out there, and that coach ain't seeming to be worried about nothing, which means that
it's funny you bring that up. Serious. It's funny you bring that up because Jim, didn't I tell you that? I was like, I was like, we were talking about me and Jim, we were talking about the Vikings defense, and I was like, I'm not sleeping on them, and Jim was like, but they're young, and I told him verbatim, Mike Zimmer's never had a bad defense before since he's been there. That's what I said. Like, I'm like, they are young. They are vulnerable, but they're going to be a top 15 defense. And I just know they will. So,
Yeah, he's never had a bad defense. I thought he was lying. I went back and looked at it. I was like, I'll be damned.
So, they will be. Well, I do think we'll beat them at least one time for sure, though. I want to sweep them, but I definitely think we'll beat them at least once. Okay, let me look at the. Make sure you guys post any more questions that you guys have in the chat. I'm scrolling down. Let's see.
I got some. What do you think about home field advantage this year?
What home field advantage?
Without fans, does that make a huge big deal of difference? Like if you have to go to Green Bay and it's cold, or you have to go somewhere else. At Seattle, it's like, hey, that's the 12th man. Arrowhead they may not have that this year. They may not have that this year. Is it different?
I'm gonna tell you this, Jim. I think that the term home field advantage will still be there, and I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
It's just like when you go on vacation and you go into a hotel room. It's not quite your bedroom, but you paid for it. Mm-hmm. And you'll get a good night's sleep at maybe that third day. I think when they come into the building, it's still going to be like, okay, we in somebody else's house. All right. And they're going to get their fair share of flack at the bus come to the building. Them fans ain't finna let you just walk up in this building without having a tomato or somebody let you know we here. So to me, I think that's still there. The bigger issue for me is our players going to maintain their level of energy without the roar of the crowd? When I played football and the crowd made any type of roar or any type of chant, my blood pressure went up, my adrenaline kicked in, and I was on go time. But I've been in games where we went against some trash teams. They didn't have no fans there. And I literally almost could care less that I was there. I'm like, let's get this over with, beat this team and go.
You know why I'm not worried about that? And it's kind of sound funny. It's because Patricia got nothing but Patriots guys. And I'm not worried about the offense. I'm sorry. They're not going to have a problem performing because, they can do that in the backyard. But with the defense, I feel like with all of those Patriot-type guys that we have on the team, I don't think it's going to affect them as much. But it's something to definitely pay attention to. But I think for the teams like mainly the Chiefs, because Arrowhead is probably I know we talk about Seattle's 10th man, but I think Arrowhead has been like the loudest of any stadium in history. So that stadium, I think it matters for the teams where home court advantage is a big thing. And I know our home court advantage is definitely real. Just ask. I know we lost to the Chiefs, but just ask them. They did not have fun on that turf. But I think that it matters more for the teams where they need that to help them to get over the hump in some games. Like the Saints. I couldn't imagine an empty Saints stadium. Could you? Like Mercedes-Benz Superdome? Really? Like, it is what it is. I definitely think that matters. What's your thoughts on this, Ryder?
I mean, I think that, I agree with what Luke said. Even if there's not fans there yelling and, having that atmosphere, you're still away from home. If you travel across the country, you're still in a different time zone. You're still away from home. You're off schedule. I still think there will be somewhat of a home field advantage. I don't think it'll be as strong because, obviously the fans won't be there yelling. They won't have that atmosphere. But, just traveling away and just going to a different part of the country for a couple of days is, it's still going to screw some people up. And, I still think teams are going to have home field advantages.
Blue and Silver says to the panel, how many touchdowns will Stafford have? I'm going to say 32. What about you, Jim?
I was right there with you, about 35.
Right or wrong?
I was around there with like 30-ish.
Okay.
30, 35 to me is cool. 40 is cool. 50, listen, I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I don't really care how many touchdowns Stafford gonna have. I care more about how many yards from the line of scrimmage we gonna have in the rushing attack. I care about how many rushing touchdowns we gonna have. We already know Stafford gonna get Stafford on a bad team. Almost hit 30, 40 some touchdowns. Okay. I mean, look at his 8-game stretch. How many touchdowns he was at before they snuffed him out with the injury. I'm just saying, tell me how many touchdowns we're going to have in the rushing attack, and that's a more important question in my opinion.
I don't disagree with you there. Bravo says, assuming we have a good season, you think the Lions trading for good players as we get closer to the playoffs? Interesting question. We're going to give this to you, Luke.
No. Honestly, I believe that this. Okay, it's a 2-part question. The first part is if you're saying that we have a winning record, then Sheila will allow for him to make trades. If you're saying that we have a subpar record or a meh record or we're a losing record, no, she's not going to allow for him to make no trades or anything because she's going to want to keep her capital. So it's going to boil down to where we are at before the trade deadline. If we are in the hunt for a playoff run or anything like that, 100% they'll be making more moves. We ain't in the hunt for no playoff run. We barely pushing 500. She ain't finna let him make no more moves. She gonna cut that off and tell him you better figure it out because this was your baby and now you gonna have to figure it out. I don't think she's gonna allow him to mess with her capital for the future.
I think it is possible. It just depends on what's going on. Like, we traded Golden Tate away. Now I know we traded him to the Giants, right? But if a team needs a piece during the season, they'll go out and they'll go get that piece. We've seen it plenty of times during the season. So I feel like if our season is going in a positive direction and we need that added piece, maybe somebody went down or we just need something else, I definitely think that the Lions would do it. But Jim, you got some thoughts on this?
Yeah, I do think it's where we're at. And I think Luke brings up a good point too, because if this is it's been a crazy year, but if it is a mandate year, do you allow them to make a move for the future? Do you allow them to trade somebody that could be a part of our future for next year or something like that?
Right.
I don't know about that. I don't know if we're in a bad state of affairs. I don't know that we're going to trade too many people. Are we going to trade for someone that could put us over the top? It'd be interesting, but what are you going to give up? You know what I mean? So you got to look at it that way too.
I don't think that matters as long as it's not.
Will it? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, though. What is what's happening?
I think like an over-the-top player wouldn't be like, "Oh, you're trading for Khalil Mack in the middle." It's like, "Oh, you need you a Golden Tate." I'm not saying we need a receiver, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You need to give up a third here or a fourth here for somebody.
Yeah.
But I think it has to matter because if you just look at, like, let's say for example, like if he's trading future assets to acquire players. I don't see, and we're not playing for nothing, or we're barely playing for something. I don't see her going with that. But if you're telling me he's trying to trade an aspiring contract to acquire assets, I can see her going with that all day long. She'll tell him in a heartbeat, "Oh, so you want to get rid of because his contract is about to expire? Okay, cool. I won't go pay him no way. I want to have as much cap and much draft capital as possible. If I don't like where we are heading in this season." That's my thing. I don't see her doing anything different.
All right, we got some more questions, and this is an interesting one. JGB, the general review says, "Are y'all taking the first 4 games as a tell of the season since there was no preseason?" I feel like we can't personally. No, because there's no room for error. Y'all either winning or you losing. Like, I mean, we could take, this is a tale of the season. If we start 0-4, of course, we'll be trash. We start 2-2. Who knows? It depends on the 2 games we won and the 2 games we lost. Because let's say we beat Arizona and the Saints, but we lose to Green Bay and the Bears. Then we're not going to be feeling that good. So I think that it's not necessarily a tale of the season. I just feel like with the preseason gone, we don't have any room for error. You're just going to have to go out there and win under whatever circumstances that you have. Anybody got some thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Let's go with Ryder. I got a thought, but let's go with Ryder on this one first.
I mean, I think they're obviously important, right? Because you got to get off to a fast start, 2 divisional games. But I mean, last year we started off hot too. We started off 2-1-1 with a narrow loss to the Saints. Like, we were all feeling good after that.
Chiefs.
People were yes, I meant the Chiefs, and people were talking. They were all hyped about it, and then we ended up going 3-12-1 anyway. So I mean, yeah, they're important to start off with, but I mean, you can't take too much stock into the very early season because so much can happen after the first 4 games that it's too unpredictable to take too much stock in.
Now, I know I'm going to piss off a lot of people, and I'm going to apologize to you right now because I'm not sorry. Hell yes, I'm taking stock into the first 4 games. Here's the first reason why. 2 of the first 4 games are division games, right? 2 of the first. The other 2 are still within the conference. So those first 4 games still hold a very big factor in tiebreakers. How you come out New Fork can be something totally different. So if they come out and they beat the Bears, then they turn around, they beat the Packers, and let's say that they beat the Cardinals and they lose to the Saints. You are 3-1 in conference, 2-0 in division. That's a hell of a start before the bye week. Then your next 4 games is Jacksonville, Falcons, Colts, Vikings. If I take an L to the Colts, it's out of conference. I ain't finna panic over that. By the time we get to that game for a tiebreaker, we got too much going on. But that Falcon game, that's in conference. That Jacksonville game, which we should not lose, is out of conference. Not going to panic. But then we coming up at this point to play the Vikings. So to me, them first 4 games is absolutely the tail of the season. Because at some point, you have to understand the significance of it. Tiebreakers, division winner, then conference record, then out of conference record, and so forth and so on. So, hell yes, that's the tell of it. They better come out and do all type of dysfunctional stuff in those first four games. Because if they mess around and get a slow start in those first 4 games, now they got to try to not only bounce back strong, but put themselves in position to win a division just to guarantee their spot into the playoff. And that's with a 7th. That's with a 7th team making the playoffs this year.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, I don't disagree, but I'm just like, go out there and win. Because like that's the way I feel about it. Just gotta go out there and win these games. Okay, Bravo asks, did we think the refs are going to be any better? No, I'm just leaving it simple. The refs hate us more than any other team in NFL history has proven. So, yeah, they're not going to be any better. I think Blue and Silver were referring to that mid-season trade. I don't know what kind of trade. Marvin Jones for Yannick. Yeah, we're giving up a first with that if that's happening.
Yeah,
but we never know what's going on with that.
No, it's gonna be way more.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I don't even like that.
Now, listen, I wouldn't do it for this reason. I believe he is better suited to be in that 4-3 defense. I just feel like my spirit feels better with him in the 4-3. And you got to ask yourself the question. He's coming from Jacksonville, who he feel was not winning and disrespectful, and the Lions haven't been winning and has had somewhat of a history of being disrespectful. Is he gonna try to now tax us? Because if you trade for him, you gotta sign him. So I'm good on that. I'm good on that trade just because it scares me that I might have to try to sign somebody who is going to be trying to tax us to get more money. And look what he do. I mean, he flat out went full. He the first player I ever seen on social media go full like a-hole on another team. He's arguing with the owners, the GM, and everybody else. Man, get me out of here. I ain't playing for you.
Hey, you must have seen Jamal Adams, bro. What you mean?
I think he was worse than Jamal Adams. Jamal Adams just
he's still on his team, so he probably couldn't have been worse. Jamal not on his team no more.
No. He's still on the team because they're trying to like woo him over so he can stay. He's like, no, he went off, bro. I'm talking about, bro, he went off. He told them, he like, I don't know why y'all put this franchise tag on me. Y'all playing yourself. He don't want no parts of them. The owner don't try talking to him. He said, man, he even putting it in the thing like ownership trying to call me for what? My phone don't work for you. I'm like, what in the world? Like that's how he acting, bro. Jamal.
Hey, and I just want to say, y'all be trying to talk about what the Lions game do. We got to play. Look at the Jets and the Jaguars. You know, that's all I'm saying. General View says, in my opinion, we need to win the first game. Coach is 0-1-1 in home openers. You are 100% right. And I really don't know what the stats are. Maybe right or wrong can find it for me. But I feel like whenever we win our home opener, the season turns out better.
Listen, General, I ain't even bring that point up because I ain't want nobody to say, because people don't ever hear when I say good things about Patricia. They only hear when I say bad things. And I ain't want to bring up the fact that he cannot lose the first game based on what his track record is. And mind you, let's put the other part in there. He hasn't won a game in his season opener yet, and both of them were against rookie quarterbacks. Just food for thought.
Well, it's not against a rookie quarterback this time, so we should win. It is crazy how both of those games started off and then how they ended. But make sure you guys drop your questions. We will wrap up in a second, and make sure you like the video if you haven't last year. Not a Lions fan, but has a comment. He says, if Darius Slay was your best defensive player last year, according to some fans, your defense sucks. I don't know what you mean by that, but hey, we gonna be better off without Slay. You know, it's hard to imagine that, but we'll be better off without him. All right. Steve-O says the opening game sets the tone. It will be a huge game to get the momentum going. Yeah, it will. But all right, guys, we're gonna do our final thoughts. We'll start with you, right or wrong.
Yeah, so I had fun tonight. It was good to be back with the panel talking some Lions football. I had a lot of fun tonight, and I always enjoy talking Lions football. So.
Okay. Does anybody think that Matthew Stafford is different now? Because my Lions fan, Bud, and some other fans have said it. I'm not buying it. But this says at JMO, Stafford is totally a different guy in the past 3 years. Then he was up to that point. Ever since he got married, he turned into a different guy. I do think what happened with his wife is could have something to do with that, but I don't know if that's related to on the field. But do any of you guys agree with this? Disagree? Whatever.
I don't think he's a different guy. I mean, he was putting up numbers last year like crazy before he got injured. I think there was a lot on his mind, with his wife.
Yeah, they alluded to like leadership type.
I do agree. I do agree with that. But I think he's always been a leader. Ever since he got that hit with Cleveland, that cemented it for me. And that was way back when we came in. I can go back in, coach. I got one arm. I can throw. That just solidified it for me that he's a leader by example. And he cusses people out too, man. You're not doing your job. He's going to be right on you. So I don't know. I think he's the same as he was to me. He may be more experienced.
I don't know what different mean. I don't tell not a Lions fan come on here and talk sports with us, man. I need him on here. I love what he's doing. If y'all don't know, he got a YouTube channel. You got to check it out. He's definitely brought up some points and supported his points with some evidence. And I like that about any content creator. Like, don't just have an opinion, support that opinion with some facts. And I think he does that, but I gotta get him on this roundtable. And then when I get him on here, we gotta talk about some of these things he been bringing up, about Matt Patricia. We got to talk about that. But I don't think
like I was saying, I'm not, like Jim said, when I saw that man say, if you need me to throw the ball, I can throw the ball. I'm like, fam, if you don't sit down, he like, nah, bro. I think it's always been like that. But like I said, perception is whatever the fans want to believe. They have a positive perception of the team, so they want to say he seemed more vocal and all of this stuff. But we can dig up the videos and the research of him doing the same exact things years before. So, like I said, fans are feeling good about the team, so now they want to give credit for Stafford for being a leader his entire career. But it is what it is, because I remember Nate Burleson and even Glover Quinn recently said that Stafford doesn't get enough credit for that. But now y'all seeing it, man. The proof is in the pudding. And JGB and Chris Cashball says when you have 4 girls, that'll change you. So
Facts. Yeah, your whole mindset changed. Like, I got all daughters. Okay.
Yeah, man. He's like, yo, can I get that, son? Like, I know Kelly, like, bro, like, we gonna have to stop at some point, like, because you ain't gonna get this son yet. Because I know Kelly, like, yo, Stafford, we gonna have to talk, you know. But that's that's just all funny games, man. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already, and if you have any more questions, drop them as we wrap up the show. But Jim Bordeaux, the Detroit Sports Room, man. Final thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's a great day to be a Lions fan. I really do. After that show of solidarity and then being together and unified, it's something I hadn't seen in a long time, and I'm really excited as a Lions fan to see them, you know, say in a critical point in a year that you didn't have preseason, you didn't have a bunch of practices, and you didn't have a lot to work with, to say, you know what, we're not just going to move on. We're going to stand and we're going to talk about this, and we're going to spotlight this because it needs to be. And I was really impressed with my organization. There's a lot of times I have not been proud of my organization for things that they've done to people that I liked as players and stuff like that. But today I was really proud of them. You know, when they did that, I was very proud of them. I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat that's supporting us. Man, so many people in the chat tonight. I really appreciate each and every one of you on the panel as well. But one more thing. J-Mo's getting up there to almost 1,000. I think he's at 35 left. If we can get those subscriptions, you guys go over and just hit the subscribe button. You're on the channel anyway, so go ahead and do that. Get him to that 1,000 because he deserves it.
Hey, no doubt, man.
That's fact. You're not even far from it, man. When you hit that 1,000, though, you got to come up with like some straight backwood Detroit grown music. I need to hear like. Just hit me up. I'm gonna have a whole soundboard of sound effects for disrespect. I'm gonna just have fun with it, man. We gotta have all type of excitement when you hit that 1,000.
We got Detroit Drew in the building. What's good, man? And make sure you guys subscribe to Right or Wrong, man. He's 9 away from 300, so we got to get him up to 300 and then 500. So make sure you guys subscribe to him if you haven't already. And before Luke G gives his final thoughts, I have to say, as Jim said, like I told you guys, I got a little bit emotional watching that because as a black man in America growing up in Detroit, still being here, I know what it's like to literally have a fear of a cop taking your life. So when they stood in solidarity on those things and those social grounds for to just the world needs to be a better place, and the fact that the Lions would stand with us in that fashion is something unbelievable. Like I didn't expect that from any sports team in the city, let alone the same football team. Like I said, Martha was paying people not to kneel, and now we're on to making a public stance that's shaking through the whole NFL and all of the sports leagues. So I'm proud of them for that. Training camp has been great. You know, people have been balling out. We need our players to stay 100% healthy. And I do feel like the atmosphere and the culture with this team, it's just a little bit of different air. But the air can be different, and you can still go out and get smacked on the field. So let's do something with that different air, you know? Matt Patricia has improved, and he's showing it. I think the players definitely, they're bought in. So we're going to see what happens with that. But, you know, this one thing that I really need to talk to you guys about, and I feel like it's so serious because this could make or break our team. And, you know, guys, like, I'm just being honest with you. You know, if we don't sign Kenny Golladay, bruh, what is wrong with y'all? I'm getting scared every week. Sign Kenny Golladay, please. I'm begging y'all. Like, yo, please sign Kenny Golladay before I lose my damn mind. Because when we don't, when the season starts and we don't sign Kenny G, you're going to see a rant video. But, all right. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video on the way out. We got the Speak Easy podcast and Greg Peoples in the building. All the people that's going to
check out
the video, man.
J-Mo.
You said what?
You got to check out the last few videos he dropped, J-Mo. Easy been in rare form, bro.
I would check it out, man.
Bro,
You gotta check it out as well.
That dude got talent. That is
no, hey, JGB. No, I had to set y'all up. I had to get real serious and act like I was about to go on some, Black Power type of stuff. Get real serious with it, get y'all attention, and just tell you the truth. We need Kenny Galladay, bro. Like, what you mean? Like,
hey, listen, y'all got to check out the Speak Easy podcast. I see Dat Z said that they also have a YouTube channel, so check out Dat Z YouTube channel. Again, if you got a YouTube channel and you want to promote it, this is where you want to come and be, because I'm gonna make sure that I give you all the promotion I can give. I always support people who doing good. I believe in lifting people up, not breaking them down. And to me, this is the best platform for you to have it. So let's get it going.
Right. All right. Your final thoughts, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to let y'all know, appreciate you all for being here. Y'all are awesome. Y'all rock. Could not say it enough. I was trying to figure out how I was going to get my positive message today. And as always, it always comes when my son asked me to watch something that I would never watch by myself. And that was Mr. Peabody and Sherman. I was like, oh, snap, they still doing this. And Mr. Peabody says to Sherman, he says, who never turns his back on you? And who are always there to pick you up when you fall and love you no matter how many times you mess up? If that's what it means to be a dog, then yeah, I'm a dog too. Now, this is funny because this is somebody who is simply accepting his role, something that he is literally saying he don't want to be. He's literally saying like, hey, I don't want to be considered as this dog. But if me being this dog is what it means for you to be happy, I'll be that and more. And what I mean by that is this. If it means for you to be uncomfortable, to take a stand for something, be uncomfortable. If it means for you to be sad for a moment, to understand someone else's pain, then be sad for a moment. It is at that moment that you are always going to be recognized as being just simply human, as being simply wonderful, being a beautiful human being who can respect a situation that you would never have to endure or ever have to encounter. That is what the fabric of being human is. And that is what has been missing for so long. We have to remember to stay human. Nothing else matters. Not if you're a square, a rectangle, a hectagon, an octagon. None of that means anything if you forget the most basic fiber of your being, and that is to just simply respect one another, love one another, and be human. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure 313J-Mo get to his 1,000. And if you have not hit that like button. And if you are in here and you got some type of YouTube channel, put it in here. We'll make sure that we get it out there. Y'all need to subscribe to these people and show support, because there's no greater power than being able to celebrate another person's success. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, don't be no chump. Please do your research.
The Lions have done something special. They made a stand. Unity gonna bring this team together. This is DSA Roundtable, man. We out.